NLP did change my life, 100%. I can put everything down to NLP, and a lot of my clients' results, I'm like, it was NLP. And if I could put something in the school curriculum for everyone, it would probably start with NLP. And it is foundational, and it is transformative, and it can be enough on its own to make massive changes. Hello, welcome back to the Mind School Method. What a day. Little life update. So I'm actually recording right now in a studio in Bali. So if you are watching this on my channel, my YouTube channel, welcome. It's a little bit of an update compared to me sitting in my office at home. We're doing a little bit of like an up leveling of the podcast in general. And while I was on my way here, so I got on the back of someone's scooter, I had my hair blowing all over my face, and I was probably collecting a lot of midges and all sorts in my hair. And I was just thinking, I am so fucking happy. Like, this moment and this reality is something that a version of me honestly dreamt of and wrote about and had so many fears that I had to overcome, but it was always worth it because I had this vision. And in my vision, I was serving people, helping people, teaching people, running a podcast, having a team, but I was also able to be in Bali with my husband, and I could take holidays when it suited him because, you know, as a teacher, I was a teacher before that. We always had to travel on school holidays, and then I was usually too tired, and it didn't always align with my husband's work. And so I dreamt so much of this exact life. And it's just so interesting that the episode that I'm talking about today and what I want to share with you today is actually a complete beginner's guide to NLP, which is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And when I reflect now and think back, getting certified in NLP was one of those moments, one of those, you know, when you look back over your life and you're like, that right there, everything changed after that. Like, everything changed. And I'll never forget my trainer at the time. She was just like, I can see it that something has shifted. And she called me the little pocket rocket. And that was actually one of my power things, or my power states, which is an NLP term, was pocket rocket mode. And I could just activate this pocket rocket mode literally at the click of fingers, because we'd done this technique multiple times over the few days that I was training. And it was like I really activated this, like, let's fucking go. And it was because of NLP that things started to shift really, really quickly. And for those of you who have listened to the Mind School podcast for a while, or maybe even for years when it was the Miss Mindset podcast, you would have heard me say, my mission for my company was to teach the things we were never taught at school. And it was when I learned about NLP and I became certified and I became a practitioner, I was like, this is the stuff that needs to be taught at school. And I've done a lot of study since then, and I've created way more modalities. I've studied more modalities. I've built in more modalities, which I'll explain at the end why other modalities are, I believe, a really important addition to make NLP even better. But over the years, I've created all these different modalities. I've studied all these modalities. I've really created a whole toolkit. But it was NLP that made me go, I want this stuff to be taught at schools. I want it to, because it changed my life. And I very, very quickly started changing lives of my students and then my clients. And it was things that people had been struggling with their whole life that would literally be changed in an instant, in a technique, in a 5-minute thing. And so I wanted to do a whole episode today for those of you who are either in the coaching space and you've heard about NLP, because if you really did some research, I think you would find that all of the coaches who are doing really well have usually got a background in NLP. And even if I think of all the big top dogs, like Tony Robbins is the ultimate, the GOAT, the master of NLP, and everybody that I've looked up to for a long time, they're usually trained, whether you know it or not, in Neuro-Linguistic Programming. This episode is helpful for you if you're a coach, but even if you're not, NLP changes lives. It really fucking does. It changed my life. It changed my students' lives. It changed my clients' lives. So I want you to listen to this, whether you're a coach or not, a teacher, whether you're a parent, just an individual who wants the best out of yourself. This episode is for you. So what I'm going to cover today is, what is neuro-linguistic programming? How to know if you need it or could benefit from it, how to make it even more potent and transformative with other modalities. I'm going to be covering how it's different to other coaching modalities and all the benefits that come and that I've personally seen from using neuro-linguistic programming. So I've said that a few times. What actually is NLP? It's in the name. Neuro, meaning brain, mind, linguistic, language, and programming. And so I want to suggest to you that you think within the frame of NLP that your mind is essentially like a computer. And as a computer, everyone has lots of different programs running that computer, and everyone stores information differently, and everyone has different software and different memories and different programs. And when you study neuro-linguistic programming, you get to understand how an individual or yourself is programming information, and then what you are able to do is create new programs, update old software, create ones that actually align with where you're going. You can muddle up programs that no longer serve you so that they are actually like, if you think of a computer and you get those, you know, when you open your laptop sometimes and it's like, this will not work. This app will no longer work with this old program. And it's like, let's forget that and update and create a new one so that you can move faster, so that you can be more productive, so that you can get to where you're going in a more optimized way. That's essentially the metaphor that neuro-linguistic works off, is that the mind is a computer and everything is stored a particular way and it's different for different people. And our job is to change our programs, upgrade our programs to create the results we want. So neuro-linguistic programming was actually created by two amazing people. And one of them was actually a college professor of mathematics, and one of them was studying linguistics. And this was in the 1970s. And so with the mathematical brain and really looking at programming and all of those types of things, combined with language patterns, these people, like I said, came up with this idea that, well, hey, humans invented computers as a representation of how we file and store and process information. So we think computers are these really intelligent, really smart, crazy things, but it's actually a representation of us and our mind. So if we can figure out how our mind works like a computer, we can change results, we can change software, we can change and update what programs are running. And to me, this is wild at this day and age, because even if there's any nerds out there that are really interested in AI, and I've gone down a rabbit hole with AI, and AI is language and processing and programming patterns. And that is what NLP is, but for the mind. And a lot of the pioneers of AI are actually brain experts. They understand psychology, they understand the mind, they understand how the mind works. And so to me, AI, which is this incredible, like insane change for society that is creating so much evolution in a really fast way, it's a representation almost of NLP, programming linguistics, and finding the program that works in a really fast and efficient way. So in NLP, we have the belief that all behaviors and therefore all results are the result of a particular program. So therefore, if you want a different result or you want a different behavior, all you need is a different program. And a practitioner is very skilled at understanding what a client's program is and knowing how to adapt it, how to shift it, how to move it, how to change it. And different to other types of therapeutics or different types of modalities, it's not always just based on asking powerful questions, which, you know, a lot of coaching certifications, when I did all my research creating my own, a lot of coaching certifications are teaching people to ask powerful questions. And that's great. That's fine. That's really strong. And that can be really great for coaching people, for coaching yourself, for getting the most out of humans. But it doesn't necessarily mean that change is going to happen, because it doesn't change the program all the time. And so NLP actually has techniques, and some of these are literally like 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes. And what can happen is honestly crazy. And so we believe that every result is just the manifestation of a program. If we want a different result, we change the program. And the program is usually our linguistics, our storage, our memories, and a whole bunch of other things. And so my experience, like I said, I walked into NLP not really knowing a lot about it. And this is going back like 5 years ago, I think. I was still a full-time teacher. And like I said, when I left, I was like, what the actual heck just happened? Crazy things like I was going in and I was like, actually, we were running a technique and I thought, I think I want to try to give up chocolate. I'm eating way too much chocolate. And we were practicing a technique and I shit you not, I left that day nauseous every time I thought of chocolate. So nauseous that I couldn't go near it. And I've seen this happen again and again when I'm training other people. These kinds of things that were just happening in such a wild way that I was like, I want to do this with my students. I want to teach my students some of this stuff. And then it wasn't long after that I actually started my own business, my first business, or my business as it is now, but my first iteration of the business. I was a mindset coach for teenagers and I was just practicing NLP techniques. So the way I actually got my first amount of clients, believe it or not, was that I put a post up. I was sharing what I was learning in my training. I was like, so I can't eat chocolate anymore. And also I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start a business. I've never had so much self-belief. I've never been more convinced that this is for me and I'm going to make it happen. And I just started sharing it and people could feel how convicted I was. People could feel that energy. People could feel my belief. People could feel that whole identity shift. And it was like, what the heck have you been smoking? And I was like, I've been smoking from the NLP Kool-Aid. Like that's what it was. So people started coming and wanting to do sessions with me for all sorts of things. And when I say all sorts of things, it really is all sorts of things. And so how you would know if you could benefit from NLP is things like being stuck in indecision. If you are somebody who takes forever to get things done, you procrastinate, you've got past memories that you often project into the future. And how this might play out as an example, I often have clients in the business space who will be like, I don't want to launch again, Breanna. I'm so scared to launch again because my other launch was so scary. I've got fucking launch trauma. And it's like, okay, well, your memories of the past and are completely impacting a completely neutral environment with no similar circumstances. You're a different person, but this happens all the time. When we have old memories, fears, things that, were pivotal in us becoming who we are, and fears that, were created in our childhood or in our businesses, it can often really keep us stuck in not wanting that to happen again. And what that means is we project our past into the future and we often create the same results and the same loops. That's another time when in my mind, in my coaching mind, when someone says, I'm scared because of what happened before, I know that there's an NLP technique we can use. This might also play out for people who are like, I'm scared to grow my business because last time my business grew, I was burnt the fuck out. And I'm like, okay, so we need to go back into that memory and see how it's stored. We need to understand the program that's running. We need to change and shift a few memories. So if you're somebody who is stuck because of something that's happened in the past, it could be that you got your heart broken or things in your business. Again, there's NLP techniques for that. The other way that you could benefit from NLP, or how you would know if NLP is helpful for you or your clients, is that you've got doubt, so much imposter syndrome. You're stuck in this really low frequency state and your identity is not helping you. You've got this idea that like, well, that wouldn't happen to me. That's not really working for me. I'm not that kind of person. Who am I to teach this? And your whole energy and program is really, really not helpful. NLP shifts things crazily. Another one is anxiety. I actually want to share a story, which is one of my favorite NLP stories ever. And it was at the beginning of my business. Like I said, I was still a mindset coach for teenage girls. And a student came to me, a client came to me, and this student was riddled with anxiety and had been for quite a long time. I was fortunate enough to have a relationship with this student for a few years. I was actually her teacher, which is such a blessing for me. And she really struggled with anxiety, things like oral presentations. And this is so common for people in school, for students. Anything where they have to speak in front of an audience or an assembly, they would just panic and almost go into this freeze response. And so this person had extreme anxiety, extreme social anxiety. She really believed that everybody was judging her and she just couldn't show up. And so I was like, okay, well, let me practice all my NLP techniques, just standard techniques. And at the time, quite honestly, I was just like, well, I hope these work. Like they worked when I was doing my training, they worked for me, but let's make sure that I know how to use them. And honestly, within a few weeks, within a few sessions, this client of mine who had been struggling with anxiety for years and years, like her whole life, she, no joke, went from that to she put her hand up as a student counselor. She was going around and speaking in front of classes. I believe she even spoke at assembly, or at least put herself on stage at assembly. And I had her mother saying, like, what have you done? Teachers are starting to ask what the heck she is doing. And I was like, this stuff is magic. Again, I was like, I want every teacher to know this stuff. I want every parent to know this stuff. I want, like, bring me all the students with anxiety. Let me do this. And so anxiety is another one where I've seen insane results. I've seen incredible things. Where phobias is another one. If you have phobias, again, it's a program, and it's probably a program from a past memory that needs to be updated, removed, influenced in some way. And so those are different ways that NLP can help you. But the other way that NLP can help you, a big part of neuro-linguistic programming is actually understanding human rapport and influence and success. And because we have the belief in NLP that every behavior is the result of a particular program that's running, you can then look to people who have high levels of charisma, who know how to speak and hold attention, who can hold rapport, who are extremely influential people. What we can do is we can start to role model their programs. We can install their programs of charisma and success and all of those things, and start to role model those and build the program into our own subconscious, so that we too can also be charismatic and know and understand how to influence others. NLP is very much the study of humans and how to be a more influential, confident human through the programs that you have running in your software and your hardware. And so if you're somebody who feels like you're not charismatic, you don't know how to hold a room, you can't hold attention, you walk in and you fade into the background like a wallpaper, then NLP is a great place for you to be. And I wanted to share also how it is different from other modalities and other tools inside of the coaching space. So, like I said, with talk therapy, psychology, psychotherapy, and a lot of those types of modalities, it's a lot of asking questions and hearing responses, but it's all from the conscious mind. When you go to a therapy session and a therapist says,
"Tell me how you felt about your past,"
you are answering from your conscious mind, your thinking mind. But we know that the subconscious mind is what actually controls us. And so it doesn't have that much impact to just speak to your conscious thinking mind, to the version of you that's answering the questions from your ego, from your thinking, from your how should I answer this. What we do in NLP is we often speak to, and the techniques are often actually communicating with the subconscious mind. And this can be through, like I said, techniques or conversation, but first we drop them into their subconscious mind. So the programming can happen faster and quicker because it's actually working with the part of your mind that actually controls your behaviors, that actually controls your emotions, that actually controls your patterns. And so in that way, NLP is different, and in my opinion, if used in the right way, can just create faster, more impactful and sustainable results because you're working with the subconscious. We're not always just speaking from the conscious mind. So like I said, there are so many benefits to NLP, and like it can make you less anxious. It can make you way more confident, more charismatic. It can stop you with doubt. It can put you into this power state where you truly believe that everything that you want is coming towards you through just updating programs that no longer serve you and making sure that you're installing new ones to take you closer to where you're going by using the subconscious mind. Now, I am going to add a caveat because the truth is NLP did change my life. 100%. I can put everything down to NLP, and a lot of my clients' results, I'm like, it was NLP. And if I could put something in the school curriculum for everyone, it would probably start with NLP. And it is foundational and it is transformative, and it can be enough on its own to make massive changes. However, here's the caveat. What I found after years and years and years of working with this modality is that sometimes there is a point where that tool is no longer the most helpful tool for the client. it can be sometimes that NLP actually isn't the right tool to use for the job, and sometimes we need something else. And so it was only after years of me studying other modalities and realizing that sometimes NLP and mindset work alone can be great, but won't take the clients always to their next level without the somatic work, working with the body, without the shadow work and the shame work and all of the other things that really do make NLP even stronger. That's what it does. NLP is amazing. I built my business and my coaching business to 6 figures with just NLP training. And that's what I did. And so I would be lying if I said to you, you need to do different modalities. You need to do the Mind School method because this is where I train you in all the modalities that work. But really and truly, the most crazy and profound transformations happened when I started to blend modalities, and I knew when NLP was the one to use and then when to drop NLP and drop someone into their body, or to do shadow work, to do ego work, to do emotional release work. And having both makes you and your business and your clients' results and your own ability to coach yourself just that much stronger, because it's like every tool is an incredible tool until it can become a weapon. And if we only do mindset and NLP work, what we can do is bypass the emotions and the body. And that's why I have created the Mind School method, which has both dualities of the coaching modalities. It's mindset, it's NLP, it's shadow work, it's emotional embodiment, it's all of those things. And I believe and have seen my students do this, that when you understand the principles of all the modalities and all the different tools, then you can actually use one and borrow some. Like, for example, when I'm often doing shadow work on clients, I will borrow my techniques and my principles from NLP to enhance shadow work, and vice versa. I can use shadow work when I'm doing NLP techniques. And so when you have principles of several modalities, you just become a powerhouse coach. And I don't just mean if you're a coach, I mean you can coach yourself through so many things, just so much. And so that's a little bit of a beginner's guide to NLP, how it will help you, the benefits of it, the origins of it. And I have created actually a complete guide and a PDF for you to download. If you find this really interesting and you want to know a little bit more about NLP, there is a guide that is all things NLP that's in the show notes, and you can download that. I would love to know how this lands for you and how you have gone with your practice of NLP, or if you want to get trained in NLP to get the most out of yourself and the most out of others, clients, all of those things. Then the Mind School method is open, and NLP is a huge part of it, because as you can tell, it fucking changed the game. It really was life-changing for me, and that's why I'm on this mission to teach it to everyone. So you can follow the link in the show notes, and I will be back here next week. Thank you so much. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit like and maybe consider subscribing. This really, really helps to grow this podcast, and it is a massive mission of mine to get you incredible guests and to increase and up level all the production so that I can help you to create your dream life, to get the most out of yourself, the most out of the people that you serve. And so please hit subscribe now, and I will see you back here in the next video.